Am I the asshole for telling my mom my brother and I were not her pawns to rename when it worked for her? I, 18 female, lost my dad when I was 8. My brother Cole was 6, my sister was 2 and my brother Logan was 4 months old. 2 years after our dad died our mom remarried. Our mom then went through the process of trying to change all our names to his. Cole and I objected and we actually spoke out in court saying we didn't want our names changed. We didn't want to be adopted, which my sister and Logan eventually were after they gave up on me and Cole, and the judge agreed with us since we were used to our last name. It was always a point of contention and our mom refused to acknowledge our last name anyway and always called us the stepdad's last name, family. Always. And she would always try to get extracurriculars and stuff to use her name instead of our name in a non-legal sense. Which bugged the crap out of us. One of my teachers used to write my legal name but call me by my stepdad's name because she and my mom were friends and it sucked. They never stopped asking us to change it and then around Christmas my brother wanted to be registered for some professional art classes and our mom tried to bargain with him that she would sign him up for the classes if he would agree to change his name. My brother said it was fine and he wouldn't take the classes. Our mom freaked out. She called me. She told me that we were behaving like brats and hurting her and our stepdad's feelings. I told her she needed to stop. That we weren't her little pawns to rename whenever she liked. That she had to accept we had our dad's name and her husband was never going to be our dad. And that she had driven us both away, as well as ruined the relationship with our younger siblings, because they see us as bad for not changing our names. I told her that all of this comes back to her and trying to force us to change something we had grown used to, our last name. She told me she was doing the best thing for the family. I rejected that and told her she was doing the best thing for her, not us. We haven't talked since and my brother said she is still pissed as hell at us both because of it. Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole. She told me that we were behaving like brats and hurting her and our stepdad's feelings. She is the one acting like that, not Op.
Not the asshole. She is just trying to erase the fact that her husband is not your father and has consistently refused to accept your own feelings on the matter. I'm assuming by adoption. You mean your younger siblings were adopted by stepdad so that he would legally be their father while your mother stays as their mother. If so then that would not be an asshole move, since the distinction would matter for things like healthcare, e.g. Stepdad would not be able to consent on behalf of a minor but legal adoption dad would.
Not the asshole. You basically told her the truth when you said it was the best thing for her and not for you two. She drove you two away and she has to live with that. She broke the family in two and made her children be divided between you and Cole, then the two youngest. Your name is yours alone, only you can change it and from the sounds of it, you likely won't. Another part of me feels as if she wants to erase the fact she was married to someone before your stepdad and she hates that you won't comply to that fantasy.
Not the asshole and damn Op, that's tough. Why doesn't your mother understand her children can't erase the memory of their father for her new man's benefit? It's pretty sad that she would sacrifice her children's happiness and her relationship with them to impress her new husband.
Not the asshole at all. Your mother should have dropped it when you and your brother spoke out in court. It sounds like your mother is trying to erase your father from your lives and replace him with your stepfather. Her behavior is manipulative and abusive.
Not the asshole. She lost her husband. That's a lot of emotion to deal with. That doesn't excuse treating your children poorly because they don't want to change their name. Especially 10 years down the line. Holding something fun and enjoyable hostage over a name is real immature, petty, borderline abusive. Your mother is the asshole, not you.
Not the asshole. It sounds as though you had to be harsh to be heard. There has to be some reason she is so adamant about the change. If you don't mind me asking, what does your stepfather think about this?
Not the asshole. Your father died and she tried to replace him and is pissed you kids aren't going to erase him the way she wants. If you want to keep your dad's last name, that is your choice and it's disgusting she's trying to force you to.
Not the asshole. You have every right to keep the name you were born with. Your mother is being selfish as hell and is only causing all this drama to make things easier for herself in her new marriage. Trying to erase the memory of your father by changing your name is really disrespectful. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Stay strong. Wow. So not the asshole. This is petty. So maybe don't do it. But I'd make a point of calling her Mrs. less than wrong surname instead of Mom. When she inevitably objects, you can just be like, oh, so it's really annoying when someone ignores your wishes and just tries to straight up rename you. Weird. Maybe only do that if you're fairly sure this relationship isn't going to be salvaged anytime soon. Not the asshole. Truth hurts and she needed to hear it.
Not the asshole. She was thinking about her husband's feelings, not the feelings of her children who lost their dad. If I were you, I'd try to explain everything and how you feel to your stepdad. You never said anything about problems with him. Maybe he can help out because your mom just doesn't care about you.
Info. You are clearly in the right here, but I'm curious, have you ever talked directly about why it's so important to her? Did she have negative feelings about your father? Info. What is this stepdad like? I mean, is he pressuring her behind the scenes? Is he the type? Or is this your mum bending over backwards to prove herself for her new man due to some fear she would lose him too?
Holy hell, not the asshole. The least your mom can do to respect your dad's memory and the fact that half of your identity comes from him is to let you keep his name? I get the fact that she suggested that her new husband adopt you and your siblings, so you could be a big happy family. But you declined, because you didn't want to just pretend that your dad was replaceable. I can't believe she's carried on this harassment for so long. To me this is the equivalent of if you'd come out as transgender and she insisted on dead naming you and getting all your teachers to call you by your previous name. Absolutely disgusting behavior. Not the asshole. It seems like your mom wants to erase your dad and pretend you're all one big happy family. Not the asshole. It's your dad's name and at the end of the day you have to do what's right for you, not what's right for your mom. Not the asshole. Good for you to stick up to that crap. One of my teachers used to write my legal name but call me by my stepdad's name because she and my mom were friends and it sucked. If something like that happens again, talk to someone above. This behavior is not accepted for a teacher. Not sure what it's called in other countries, but there's always someone, mostly multiple people, that can help in such cases and make sure the teacher does as you wish.
Curious. How does the stepdad feel about all this? Does he really feel the need to have you change names or is mom just weird?
Not the asshole. It is your name and it obviously has great meaning for you and your brother. Your mother is being selfish and not considering your feelings on this at all. It is particularly disgusting when she tried to hold your brother's activities hostage to the name change. Info. What is your relationship with your stepdad like? Do you get on? I'm going with not the asshole anyway. However, I wonder how the name situation has impacted your relationship with your stepfather?
Not the asshole, and yeah, your little siblings were too little to understand and were conditioned to believe you were being bad. She ruined your relationship with him for no reason. Oh man, someday if you get married I can just envision the freak out she's going to have when you don't want him walking you down the aisle. NTA. I lost my husband 2.5 years ago. We have one child, 4 female. I would not change her name if I was to remarry. If she was older, say 12, and asked, I would consider it after a discussion to make sure that's what she wanted, but otherwise, she would keep the same name until she chose to change it.
I can't imagine trying to force my kids to give up their dead father's last name. The thing that would connect them to him. WTF is wrong with this woman? Not the asshole. You're not an animal that can be renamed after new ownership. What if she gets a new husband? Where does it end?
Not the asshole. Seriously, it's a last name. Your dad passed away, but why is she trying to erase him? Love makes a family, not a name.
She told me she was doing the best thing for the family. And how did that work out? Or was pushing 2 of her children away and sowing tension between her children her idea of best? Too bad that she can't admit that she was wrong about what she thought was best even while facing all the negative consequences of her actions. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole at all. Why is your mother trying so hard to erase your father? Why do people do that, anyway? That's so sad. Is your stepfather so unsure of himself that he requires everything, yes, to him newer things, in his name?
Does she even understand that you're an adult now? So she can't force you to change your mind no matter how much time she wastes throwing tantrums about it. Gosh, what's she going to do if her daughter gets married and wants to change her name? Is she going to have the same meltdown about it she's been having about you for 10 freaking years? Woman facepalming.
Not the asshole. Facts are facts. You and your siblings are the product of your dad and mom, not your stepdad. If you don't want to change your name, she shouldn't be trying to force you into it. She's played a stupid game and won the stupid prize of driving you away.
Tell your mother to stop writing your father out of your life. He existed, he died, regardless of what she wants to happen. Your stepfather is not your father. Nothing will change that. Tell her she is acting as if your father is some kind of illicit secret to be ashamed of.
Not the asshole. My mom tried this with me as a kid, albeit her maiden name. She hated my dad with good reason, but I loved his side of the family. I stated I am a last name through and through. She still wanted to go ahead but would have required my dad's signature as she never got full custody. Had to threaten to tell the courts she faked his signature on it and my passport before she dropped it.
It's sad that your dad, mom's first husband, was basically erased from existence. Your stepfather is not your dad. Not the asshole. What does your paternal family, dad's siblings and parents, say about all this?
What's with parents forcing their new spouses' names or spouses in general on children? It's like they don't think children can think for themselves. Not the asshole.
Your name is your choice, not hers. She needs to grow up. Not the asshole.
Good on you for sticking up for yourself.
Definitely not the asshole. It's your father's name. It's something he handed down to you at a time you were old enough to remember and grow into too. It has grown since then to become your name, how you define yourself. I am so sorry to hear that it has put a strain between you and your younger siblings, but you are definitely NTA. Not the asshole. By trying to force this change, she destroyed any chance you had for forming a relationship with your stepfather, as well as destroying her own relationship with the two of you. Not the asshole. That's awful. Your mom ruined your relationship with your younger siblings and coached them to not like you. What happens when your mom divorces this guy? Is she going to make you change it back? Or what about the next guy she meets? Will she make you change it again? It's confusing and not right. Your mom is the huge a hole.
Not the asshole. Your younger sibs were tiny. They didn't know the difference. You were old enough to understand and make a choice. You made a choice. She didn't need to like it, but to keep harping on about it? WTF? Definitely not the asshole. She was not doing the best thing for her family, she was being selfish. You had a father. He died. People die. We don't change names just because of it. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Not the asshole. She ran from talking about it once she realized she was caught just doing things for herself, playing it off as your fault.
Not the asshole. I'm sorry. That sucks. Hard enough to lose your dad so young and then to have your mom try to erase him from your life on top of it? That's cold. She definitely is thinking of only herself in this, and that's sad. Not the asshole on so many levels. It sounds like, in order to accept the new hubby, she wants to erase any memories you and your brother may have had of your father, including his name. That she forced the issue through with your younger siblings, when they couldn't so much as speak, let alone speak for themselves, just goes to show that she sees her kids as possessions rather than individuals with free will. A part of me even wonders if she started feeling guilty for moving on from your father, and is trying to bury all those negative feelings behind your stepfather name. If so, the fact you and your brother refuse to play into her charade is just keeping all those negative feelings fresh. ICOI0 old be wrong of course, and she could simply be a narcissistic female dog.
Not the asshole. Maybe ask your mom why she hated your dad so much and try to erase everything about him. She will probably say she doesn't, but what she is trying to do and your stepdad is very disrespectful to you, your brother, and your dad's memory. Maybe ask your dad's side if you can live with them if they can disrespecting like that, and give your mom an ultimatum with your brother and you. That you love her but you still love your father and his memory, and you will have not him be disrespected like that. That she must respect that or cut ties until she does. I honestly don't know in this situation, but forcibly trying to have your name changed is a big no-no.
Not the asshole. Like. Why would you not want your kids to keep their father's name? Why is she so hard trying to erase him from every aspect of her life? Good on you for not bending to your adult brat mother.
Not the asshole. She had no right to force you to change your name like that. She's manipulative and controlling.
Sorry you and your siblings are going through all this, Op. My brother and I can kind of relate. My mom married her dad under a false name, so neither my brother nor I nor my mother ever had his real last name. The half-siblings all do. Our paternal grandmother tried to change our names to the real last name and we refused. He didn't want us to have his name, so why should we force it? Now I find out that I may have a different dad and my mother said I should just change my last name to her maiden name and forget about all this nonsense. Names are important and people don't understand how it can affect you, especially if you've never had a full name. Edit. Not the asshole. NTA. I applaud you. Not the asshole. She's gonna lose her children by trying to please her man. People have their priorities messed up.